to my room. Unfortunately, we are not at Disney like we're supposed to be in a few weeks. Well, I don't know, we wouldn't be at Disney today anyway, but I guess I meant to say, unfortunately, we did cancel our next Disney trip because it is in 2 weeks and we are supposed to be going on Friday, the November 6th, and as of right now, Florida is still on the quarantine list in New York State, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, so we are stuck here in New York, which is fine. The numbers look like they're getting pretty bad in Florida right now anyway, so I am perfectly content to stay home and stay safe, despite how much I miss Disney. But we do have our virtual race in 2 weeks, so that should be fun-ish. Hopefully our medals come soon, and I think they're supposed to be sending like a playlist and stuff, so that'd be cool to listen to while we run. So I'll probably make a short video about that, just to give everyone like the idea of how it went. So anyway, today and this week, I am going to be talking about my top 10 live action Disney movies. So last week I talked about my favorite animated movies. This week I'm going to be talking about my favorite live action movies, and we'll see if I can ramble a little bit less than I did last week, because we all know I love to ramble and talk a lot. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So my first favorite live action movie is The Parent Trap. I do really like the old Parent Trap, like the original Parent Trap, but I prefer the new Parent Trap. Despite like Lindsay Lohan like going a little crazy after it happened. I just think the movie is so good. I love the music in the movie. The storyline obviously is good, but it's not an original storyline because there was already the movie beforehand. But I think Lindsay Lohan like did a great job in that movie. And I don't know, I like all the scenes with Meredith and how they like, you know, like it's so obvious you could tell that they switched, but no one could figure it out. I don't know, it's just one of my favorite. I feel like one of my favorite scenes in that movie is like when they're camping and Meredith wakes up in the middle of the water. I think it's hilarious. But like when they're all at the resort and they can't figure out why they're all there. I don't know, such a great movie. So that's definitely my number one. My number two movie is Cinderella. So this is actually the first live action Disney movie that I've seen of the remake. So obviously they remade like Jungle Book and all that stuff. But I think Cinderella is one of the first anyway, but I didn't see Jungle Book until after Cinderella. And Cinderella is my favorite Disney princess movie in general, although it did not necessarily make my top 10 animated movies. It's my favorite old school Disney princess movie, whereas Tangled is my favorite new Disney princess movie. But the animation and stuff isn't that great in the old one because it's so old, which is why it did not make my top 10 list. If you followed that sentence, good for you, because I have no idea what I just said. I truly rambled like a ton. So hold on one second. Hey guys, welcome back to my room. Unfortunately, we are not at Disney like we're supposed to be in a few weeks. Well, I don't know, we wouldn't be at Disney today anyway, but I guess I meant to say, unfortunately, we did cancel our next Disney trip because it is in 2 weeks and we are supposed to be going on Friday, the November 6th, and as of right now, Florida is still on the quarantine list in New York State, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, so we are stuck here in New York, which is fine. The numbers look like they're getting pretty bad in Florida right now anyway, so I am perfectly content to stay home and stay safe, despite how much I miss Disney. But we do have our virtual race in 2 weeks, so that should be fun-ish. Hopefully our medals come soon, and I think they're supposed to be sending like a playlist and stuff, so that'd be cool to listen to while we run. So I'll probably make a short video about that, just to give everyone like the idea of how it went. So anyway, today and this week, I am going to be talking about my top 10 live action Disney movies. So last week I talked about my favorite animated movies. This week I'm going to be talking about my favorite live action movies, and we'll see if I can ramble a little bit less than I did last week, because we all know I love to ramble and talk a lot. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So my first favorite live action movie is The Parent Trap. I do really like the old Parent Trap, like the original Parent Trap, but I prefer the new Parent Trap. Despite like Lindsay Lohan like going a little crazy after it happened. I just think the movie is so good. I love the music in the movie. The storyline obviously is good, but it's not an original storyline because there was already the movie beforehand. But I think Lindsay Lohan like did a great job in that movie. And I don't know, I like all the scenes with Meredith and how they like, you know, like it's so obvious you could tell that they switched, but no one could figure it out. I don't know, it's just one of my favorite. I feel like one of my favorite scenes in that movie is like when they're camping and Meredith wakes up in the middle of the water. I think it's hilarious. But like when they're all at the resort and they can't figure out why they're all there. I don't know, such a great movie. So that's definitely my number one. My number two movie is Cinderella. So this is actually the first live action Disney movie that I've seen of the remake. So obviously they remade like Jungle Book and all that stuff. But I think Cinderella is one of the first anyway, but I didn't see Jungle Book until after Cinderella. And Cinderella is my favorite Disney princess movie in general, although it did not necessarily make my top 10 animated movies. It's my favorite old school Disney princess movie, whereas Tangled is my favorite new Disney princess movie. But the animation and stuff isn't that great in the old one because it's so old, which is why I did not make my top 10 list. If you followed that sentence, good for you, because I had no idea what I just said. I truly rambled like a ton. So hold on one second. So anyway, the point of the story is Cinderella has a special place in my heart. I was so excited to see this movie in the theaters. I was actually on nights right before this came off, and it was like the one thing I had pulling me through Night Float because we worked 6 nights in a row for 4 weeks, and it was horrible. And I kept thinking the whole time, okay, we're gonna go see Cinderella like this, you know, like soon, and I'm so excited. And I bought this Cinderella dress at Kohl's that they came out for the movie. It was just so great to like even look forward to it, and I loved the movie. I actually think it's probably my favorite of the live action remakes so far, although I haven't seen Aladdin or The Lion King, but I don't really feel like The Lion King is a live action, as I talked about before, because I don't see how CGI is considered live action, but what do I know? And I know a lot of people don't like the fact that they're making these movies as live actions, but I actually kind of like them. But I thought the acting was this, you know, this movie was great. The actress whose name I cannot remember right now, and I don't think you guys want to watch me Google things every 2 seconds, so I won't this episode, but the actress is in Downton Abbey as well, and I loved her in that show, so I just really, really loved the movie. And I like the song that's in there, like about like whatever, do dilly dilly, that song. I'm really great singing. So anyway, that's my number 2. My number 3 is, I'll just go in the same order with this. So Mary Poppins. How can you not put Mary Poppins on your favorite list? It's obviously a classic movie. And, you know, obviously the music is like, you know, incredible. And, I don't know. What else can I say about it? I mean, Mary Poppins, the character is just great. And, I don't know. It's just such like a good feel-good movie. Although I guess it's not. Wow, I'm like really contradictory. I feel like I sound like I've had a lot of caffeine today, but I actually haven't had any. But you know, I don't know, like you know, some parts of it are kind of a little sad, like Feed the Birds and everything. But I think the theming is good, and how it's like kind of getting to the point of family time, which is nice. And I don't know, just a classic movie. And who doesn't love Julie Andrews? So that's number 3. And number 4 on my list, and going in conjunction with it, is Mary Poppins Returns. So I feel like a lot of people did not enjoy Mary Poppins Returns, and I am not really sure why. I think maybe it's because people are so attached to the original Mary Poppins that they don't feel like this one maybe did it justice. But I thought that Emily Blunt did an amazing job, and Lin-Manuel Miranda is awesome and in anything he's in, so I enjoyed him being in there as the chimney sweep. I thought the music, the score is great, but also like just the regular music is incredible. I listen to that soundtrack on repeat constantly. I don't know why. I just really, really like it. I thought it was very fantastical like the original, but I think to even better degree, just because they obviously have more at their fingertips in terms of what they can do technology wise. I really think it's a great movie. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you watch it. But I personally liked it better than the original Mary Poppins. I know when I said that to my mom, and like she was saying like, oh no, I didn't think that way, or none of my friends think that way who've seen the movie. And I think it's just because they grew up with Mary Poppins, whereas, you know, I've watched Mary Poppins a few times, but it's not like necessarily nostalgic to me. So I really, really enjoyed the movie. And then I guess I'll just kind of stay in this theme. So my 5th movie is, and probably I would say the number 1 on this list, is Saving Mr. Banks. So the reason I'm grouping it with this is, if you've never seen Saving Mr. Banks, it's about Walt Disney and his pursuit of P.L. Travers so that he can make Mary Poppins into a movie. And I like this movie for a lot of reasons. I think it's historically really cool to see like the history of Walt Disney and P.L. Travers, and just to hear like the story, because they kind of like threw in some Disneyland scenes in there, which I thought was really cool, and how hard Walt Disney worked to get that movie made, despite her not really wanting a lot of the stuff in there, like the animation and that type of stuff. And I liked how, where was I going with this? I liked how, like they had the Sherman brothers like portrayed in that movie. So it was really cool to see the current times of like when they were making the movie, and then the flashbacks of PL Travers' life. The movie itself is actually quite sad, which I usually don't like sad movies, but I don't know, I've watched this movie a ton. I watch it all the time because I have it on DVD. I'm sure it's on Disney Plus too, but for some reason I just feel really, really connected to that story. And again, I think it's just because they portray Walt Disney, and Tom Hanks does a great job playing him. It's just it's such an interesting story, and one that I think really needed to be told, so I'm glad that they did make a movie out of it. So all right, so that's number 5. Number 6, so this is going to be a little weird just because of how I'm not old in any means, but this movie is very, very nostalgic to me because we used to go to the video store, like Blockbuster, when I was a kid and pick out VHS tapes to watch for the week, and I always picked this one, and this one is Pollyanna. It's a very old movie, but it's one of my absolute favorite movies. It's actually quite long too, but if you've never seen Pollyanna, definitely try and find it. It might be on Disney Plus. I haven't actually looked, but Pollyanna is about this little girl who is living with her, I think it's her aunt, who is like pretty wealthy, and she's kind of like rambunctious and doesn't really follow the rules, and it has a little bit of a sad part to it, but I don't know why, I just really love this movie, and maybe it is because it's nostalgic, but I think it's a great, great movie. And I don't want to give away the ending, but it's a pretty good ending, and I don't know, I just really, really like it. So if you've never watched Pollyanna, I highly recommend it. Definitely one of my favorites. So all right, next on my list is, let's see. Oh, I put Hocus Pocus on there. I feel like I had to put a Halloween movie, and this is probably, of all the Halloween movies, my favorite one. I've watched it. I actually used to watch it a lot as a kid, but I haven't watched it until last year recently. It is a little weird, but it's a good story. I don't love the Hocus Pocus, and I think I mentioned this before in my Halloween party video. I don't love the Hocus Pocus stage show. And maybe it's because I'm not like as connected to Hocus Pocus as some people are, but I do enjoy the movie. I think the acting is really good in that movie. It's a really cool storyline, and the costumes are really cool. And it's a good, I don't love Halloween, but it's a good Halloween movie that's not like overly scary, which is perfect type of Halloween movie for me. So definitely I would say Hocus Pocus is my favorite. I know there's like Halloween Town and some other movies, but I've never seen a lot of them. And so this is my number 1, but I'm not like into it so much that I'll buy it. I feel like they like oversell the Hocus Pocus merchandise. It's just not for me. So all right, and then next up on my list is Pirates of the Caribbean. So obviously there's a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but definitely the original is my favorite, I would say, for sure. It's funny because when this movie came out, I think I was in high school when this movie came out, or a little bit younger. No, but I'm pretty sure it was high school. And I remember my dad kind of like begging me to go see this movie, and I was like, I am not going to see this movie. I don't want to see a pirate movie. It has no interest to me whatsoever. I can't even imagine how they would make that ride into a movie. And at that time, I don't think Pirates was necessarily my favorite ride. So he actually went to go see it by itself himself. But I know when like they were starting to make the second movie and it made such a big like splash in the box office, I eventually told my dad I would watch it with him. I think we watched it on DVD, and I loved it. It was the best movie. Johnny Depp plays a perfect Captain Jack Sparrow. He's such a good actor for the role. And I'm also a little obsessed with, oh my gosh, I can't think of anyone's name today. What's his name? The other guy. The other guy, like you guys are supposed to know who I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of it? What's the other pirate's name? Orlando Bloom. I don't need to look this up. I was a little obsessed with Orlando Bloom, especially at the time anyway, because of Lord of the Rings, which I don't even really like Lord of the Rings. I feel like I only watch those movies because I loved Orlando Bloom. But he's so good in that movie too, and I think the story is just so original. Like, it had some parts of the ride in it, but not a ton, and I think they just did such a great job in general with that movie. And I did like the series. I didn't care for the last of them, but I actually really enjoyed the rest of the movies. But by far, the original Pirates of the Caribbean is my favorite of the whole series. So The next movie I have on my list, oh look, I am going pretty fast. I'm so great at talking today. So my next movie on the list is Princess Diaries. So I actually had a hard time picking out 10 movies to put on this list. So I was like, I can't think of any movies. Like I had originally put down like Parent Trap and Cinderella and the Mary Poppins movies first. And then I kind of Googled live action movies and then I saw a whole list of stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Princess Diaries. How can I not put this on there? So I put that on there. I don't know. What can you say about the Princess Diaries? It's such a great movie. I don't know. It's just such a good story. I love the concept of it. I love like how awkward and whatever Mia was and how they turned her into a princess. And I love that Mandy Moore has like a cameo in this movie. I don't know. I just really, really love it. And again, Julie Andrews, maybe it's just because Julie Andrews is in it too, but it's just so good. I don't know. It's like, also I think it came out around the time where I felt like, you know, being a princess was still realistic, and in that kind of movie, like made people still feel that way because she was just like an average person who happened to have a royal bloodline, which obviously doesn't actually happen. But in my mind, in whatever age I was when this movie came out, I was like, oh, I could still be a princess because look, it happened in this movie. So I just love it. It's so good. I really did like Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement. But I didn't put it on the list, but it definitely is an honorable mention because I really, really love the scene in that movie with all the princesses and like Raven-Symoné's in there and a few, I don't know, like when they have this big slumber party. It's just such a good movie. And I'm a sucker for like a rom-com, which is essentially what that movie is. So, all right. And then one more movie on my list, and I know I said Saving Mr. Banks is probably my top on this list, but this is a very close to being top, so very close second. And this is the Lizzie McGuire movie. So I actually did not have cable growing up. We did not have cable, so I did not have the Disney Channel until I was in high school. So I missed a lot of the Lizzie McGuire series on TV. I mean, I watched some of it at my friend's house, and then I definitely caught some of the end of it when I was in high school. But so I wasn't, for some reason, like super attached to that series itself, but I still to this day love Hilary Duff. She's one of my favorite singers and actors. And so I was, of course, like obsessed with Lizzie McGuire because of that reason too, but the movie was so good. It like, I just like so many things wrong with it. Like, how do you let an 8th grader go on a trip by herself to Europe? Or if you do, how do you let her like run away with this rock star? And why did they auto-tune her voice in the movie? Because she actually has a pretty good voice. And I know so many things you could pick apart in the movie. But that whole like scene with her and Gordo at the end, and I'm so bummed that they canceled the live remake of what's it called? What's it called? The Lizzie McGuire movie. I'm literally losing it. I'm sorry guys. I like ran 5.5 miles this morning and worked out, and I'm like brain dead right now. So I'm kind of bummed that they made like the adult version, or they canceled the adult version of this show. I hope it comes back. I know Disney Plus announced it, and then they like couldn't work out a contract or something. So but I hope it brings back because I want to see what her and Gordo are doing now, because that's kind of how it ended. And anyway, it just like was like Italy goals, right? You just want to go to Italy. It just made Italy look amazing. And I did go to Italy in high school, and it was not the same experience, but it was still pretty cool. And I feel like I appreciate it all the more because Lizzie McGuire got to go there with her friends, and just such a good movie. So anyway, that's it actually. So I think I kept this fairly short. So that's my top 10 live action movies. And let's see, I think next week I might go through my top 10 like Disney series, so like any shows, whether it be animated or not. And then after that, I'm probably going to try and go into the Disneyland realm and start talking about some of my favorites in Disneyland, because I have not done any of those, and I am not a Disneyland expert, which is kind of why I haven't made it into that arena, but I do love Disneyland. And because I am not going to Disney anytime soon, I feel like I have to talk about something, so it's going to be Disneyland after that. So that's kind of my next plan. And so that's it for now. So I hope you guys have a good week, I should say. I don't know what I said before that. And I will see you next week for my top 10 Disney series.